The biggest misconception is that when you take an entry, it has to be like everybody's entries, like the ones you see on YouTube. Look, the entries, everybody entries work. It's whatever works for you. I found what works for me. I'm gonna show y'all what works for me, but tweak it in your own way and try not to relieve yourself of the trouble. Like you need to find one way, and it has to be someone else's. Like it can be whatever you find works for you in the market. Multiple entries work. That's what I'm trying to get at. Multiple entries work. The ones that I use are inversion for varied gaps, breaker blocks, and proportion blocks. In this video, we're going to be talking about proportion blocks and breaker blocks. That's the ones I trade as well. But like I said, how you trade entries, like I said, don't overcomplicate it. Just do what the best works for you. I want to talk about proportion blocks real quick because I don't think a lot of people understand. Like a failed proportion block usually or sometimes can be your breaker. And I'm going to explain that right here. So let's just say this is your order block right here. We're coming out of an order block. So this area right here is order block. Come up, come down, we touch that order block, and then we pierce it. When we pierce the opening right there, this is now became your other order block, right? And what the idea of this is, if we have an order block inside another order block, that's your proportion block. So I'm going to show you in the price action. This is your order block. Come up, come down, we touch this order block, right? Then we pierce the high of this candle right there. When we pierce the high of that candle right there, this is now became another order block. But more importantly, since we came out and delivered at this order block, this is now a proportion block. An order block with inside another order block is a proportion block. So in this case, you're not wanting this to fail. You want us to keep shooting up and gives you the confidence to hold the trade and get in something like this. You got a fair value gap right there, so that could be another confirmation. And you're aiming up higher. It was a new week opening gap, and I was aiming for that, so all that good stuff. But the idea of this is a proportion block should hold. The other idea of this, why I would like to use proportion blocks, is that if a proportion block fails, it has a very good chance, or sometimes a chance, is a breaker. Stay with me. If you have this, right, we have a high. Make sure I'm doing this. There we go. We have a high, low, higher, high, right? We came up, came down, made a high. If this fails, so if I was to pretend, look at the arrows, not the candles. If we was to fail, break through all this, right? This proportion block, come through. Well, now don't we have a breaker, right? If this fails, we have a breaker. High, low, higher, high, rip down, extend the down close candles, right? And then we will be looking for it to target back up, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I'm looking for it to go lower. So that is why I'm saying why I like proportion blocks is sometimes if they fail, then they become breakers. So again, if you don't know what breaker is, it's a high, low. The kind of shows you high, low, higher, high, rip down, or in reverse that and opposite. I'm going to show you plenty of examples. So that was the proportion block area right there, taking a trade, going up higher. Again, order block beside another order block. This one, again, you can see from here. This is a breaker setup. You can almost say it made a proportion block right here, but it didn't touch the other order block. But I mean, ideally you'd be using this as a breakaway gap, but we're not finna go all that. So I was use it as a breaker, which is your low, your high, your low, rip up, extend your up close candles right here, which is how I would draw it. So either A, I'm getting in just slightly early at this fair value gap, put my stop loss below here, or I'm getting in all of my position right here, going for this rejection block right here. So the trade will look something like this. Maybe giving it a little breathing room right here, and then trail my stop up as we move into profit. But that's why I like to wait for something to be disrespected. Like I say, inversion for fair gaps and for fair gaps, we'll talk about that in a different video. This will be another breaker setup. So you got these highs right here, clean highs right here. Got a low, rip up. Then we come back down. So we got high, low, higher, high, rip down. Down, since the last word I said is down, that's how I know I need to extend the down close candles right here. And that'd be your setup right there. Getting in right here, getting right here, getting right here. Stop loss be above this. I like to have safe stop losses. So like this. It'll look like this, it'll look like that, it'll be something like that. Depending on what I got in at. Aiming for sell side. So that's how that would look. Again, I'm gonna show you some more examples. But that's why I like looking at breakers. Again, this is another reason I'm gonna show you. This is the reason I went to this method. So what happens is if you just rely purely on fair value gaps, no inversion fair value gaps, nothing, just purely fair value gaps, I don't know when the reverse is happening. Meaning nothing got disrespected, so I don't know what to look at. What does that mean? I don't know how people are not. I don't know what to. Not, like if I'm looking at this, if I'm just purely taking fair value gaps, then I would take this trade. But what happened is obviously you can see that we took a loss, which is fine. But my thing is, if you just wait for more confirmation, meaning a disrespect of a P array, which is that is how you have to form the breaker. Then I just feel like it gives me more clarity and I feel I'm more safe that we are going up these highs at least. Meaning, instead of doing this, right? Instead of doing this, I wait for a breaker to set up. This is my breaker, right? High, low, and then we try to rip up, getting in like this. Something like that, going for this, fair value gap, or if I was going to high time frame, it's fair value gap. Looking something like this, right? Did back in there. Then when we did back in there, maybe put my stop up to right here, right? Then I say another fair value gap. You know what I mean? Like and then you can start making your own trade, right? But the basis is I'm hoping this breaker holds. If this breaker does not hold, then I'll be looking lower. You see what I'm saying? Because I feel like we should be holding this. That's just how, again, that's just kind of how I've been looking at it and been saving me on some trades. And that's why I was looking at, if you trade like this, you just need to look at, make sure that your risk management is changed. Here's another breaker setup. Okay, above these highs, which is going to be a low, high, low, low, rip up, right? We're ripped up, getting in right here. So I would even say just coring just off of the breaker setup, giving it some PD raise. Giving it 3 P raise and put my stop loss below. This would be, obviously you can see it has been lost. Waiting for it to come back above this order block. We did come back. Fair value gap. Either I can put it below this breaker again or give it some breathing room, which is this. And then from 1-2. A 1-2, 1-3, whatever you're looking for on high time frame. I think London highs, London highs is the draw on this one. Like I said, obviously it's not gonna help, work every single time. I'm not gonna show you, I'm not gonna go through here and show you only wins. But when you have a high probability breaker and the time is lining up, it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid execution. This is the last one I'm gonna show you right here. This is another time where I'm telling you, this is what I'm saying. Look how this is a proportion block. This is an aura block. We come up, come down, touch that aura block. We leave that aura block. This is a proportion block because it's an aura block inside no aura block. Now the thing is, what I'm trying to get at is, if this fails, then it is now a breaker. So your proportion block, if it fails, it's a breaker. And this, not every single time, but majority of times. So in this case, boom, fails. So now we got a proportion, a breaker, and you get entry here at the fair value gap. And I'm basing it off not just the fair value gap. I'm basing it off of the breaker. I need the breaker, and then I could just use any other P rate to get in. Whether, fair value gap, inversion, what I'm saying, it doesn't matter. I'm basing it off the breaker though. And then continue to go lower, This and the last one right here got another breaker. So you got a low, high, low, low. We're at deep, discount for the day below midnight. So then you can look up for a buy for right here. Why can't you look for a buy? Because we have a breaker. Looking for up and taking it back at least to, equilibrium of this range, or whatever you was targeting up here. But the idea is I'm not getting in until we form a breaker. You know what I mean? Like that's just the model. So that was just the model, just showing you some entry models of showing you how to use a breaker. Like I said, that's how I would not be getting in right here. I be getting in right here. because I don't know if this is gonna hold now, and I'm just waiting for extra confirmation. That's all the breaker does, give you extra confirmation. Like I said, next video I'll be talking about inversion and fair value gaps, and how I use that to get into trades. Hope this video was educational, and I'll see you next one.